blanket? That was a hell of a cold open.
All right, fair.
What's up, guys? Jeff Cavalier, ATHLEAN-X.com.
And Jesse, ATHLEAN-X.com. Yes, I'm still doing that.
So we are talking about an Ask Jeff question, actually,
Yes.
where you leave your questions in videos just like this. It might get turned into an actual whole video answering your question. Today actually has something to do with cold showers.
Yes.
So a lot of people believe that cold showers are amazing and they help with muscle growth, and others think that cold showers are the worst and they don't do anything for muscle growth. I guess there's some that sit in between too.
Yeah.
But who do you have a question from today?
This is from Leroy Sanchino. It's an awesome name, by the
Hello,
way.
hello, Leroy.
Do cold showers help to grow more muscle? I know I get a little shrinkage down low, but I'm wondering if everything else will grow. Good rhyme there.
That's good. Leroy, I had a dog named Leroy, by the way. Okay, so let's talk about this because I think this is a great topic. I actually believe if you're watching this right now and you're not taking cold showers at some point, you might actually be costing your gains. Here's why. Can we talk about killing your gains for a second here?
Isn't everything killing your gains?
No,
You're
no,
the king of killing your gains.
No, you see, I've produced more gains through letting people be aware of what might be killing their gains and how to put that in context of what's killing your gains, because context always matters. Obviously, my people that watch my videos actually realize the context.
So I guess you
some
are
don't.
the king of giving gains.
I am the king of giving gains by telling you what to avoid that's killing gains.
Okay,
All
that's
right.
fair.
So let's talk about that.
Okay.
Where do people feel that this is killing gains? Well, they feel it's killing gains because there's a lot of research out there that says that cold showers actually blunt muscle growth.
Really?
And hypertrophy. And the reason why is because it basically interferes with the growth factors and mediators that happen after training.
Okay.
That is usually followed in these studies by submersion.
That's not taking a shower.
That's not a shower. So to keep that point in mind for a second here, cold water submersion is different. That's like getting into an ice tub and dunking down and spending a considerable amount of time in there. Again, likely something you're not doing right now. But is that true? Yes, it is. Again, the studies will show that the inflammatory processes that happen following training, that would be the stimulus or the initial stimulus for additional growth over time through recovery, get blunted by the immediate use of these cold water submersion tactics that will actually blunt the overall hypertrophy response over time. And it's a pretty significant blunting actually when they compare the control group to the people that are actually there doing this.
Really?
Yeah, so it's not really a good thing to do. Now, if you were strength training, you weren't focused on muscle growth, you really wouldn't see the same negative effect from the cold water submersion following training because it wasn't, again, that inflammatory driven process that drives muscle growth and hypertrophy.
Okay.
All right, so if you're a strength trainer alone just looking to build your strength, top level strength, you're likely not going to see the same detriments from doing that.
Right. But what about athletes?
So interestingly, athletes in Major League Baseball, we used to have pitchers that would routinely follow a game by going into a submersion setting and actually do that to improve the recovery. And the reason why that actually worked and why it's a good thing is we're not looking to build muscle in season or drive hypertrophy as our main goal in season. Performance is what's the driving factor in season.
Right.
And particularly for a pitcher, your performance and more importantly, a recovery to come back for your 5th day start matters a lot. So using submersion training to attack the same inflammatory processes that would hold you back from recovery is the same reason why you'd actually want to do it.
Okay.
So it is having a negative effect on the people that are looking to drive muscle growth, but not on an athlete who's trying to improve performance and increase recovery. So that's the thing. But again, we're not necessarily talking about that setting. So as always, it's the setting and the application that matter and the timing that matter too. So if we're not talking about cold water submersion, we're talking about showers. And that's something that you actually did a little bit of, cold showers.
Yeah, I actually, that was something I experimented with a little bit. I started out irresponsibly, and I jumped in a cold shower for unbelievably 5 minutes, and that sucked. But after that, I decided that I was going to do contrast, which was going cold and then warm or stepping away from the shower. But I noticed when I started out that I was, I couldn't breathe, I was shivering, I was contracting my muscles so tightly.
So we've all experienced this when you get into cold water, all of a sudden you feel like you can hardly breathe and your stomach gets sucked in. I talk about it actually being a good way to activate your transverse abdominis and pelvic floor because you sort of lift everything up, and for Leroy and his shrinkage, you would know what I'm talking about. But when you get in that cold water, you do get a hyperventilatory response.
Right.
It's something that as you experience, you will accommodate to if you do it.
Yeah.
So over time, it's not going to take one session. over a week or 2 or 3 weeks.
Well, I did it for 4 weeks, and I noticed that as time went on and as I increased the amount of time that I was in that cold water, in the shower, it got easier.
Right. It's gonna get easier. So I know you might be avoiding it right now because either you read the stuff I already talked about and said I'm not doing it because I want to cost myself some gains, or you actually just can't tolerate the thought of being in a cold shower. Yeah. I'm telling you, it's going to get better from that aspect. But again, it's a shower, it's not a submersion, it's a different effect. But more importantly, timing. You wouldn't do the cold shower immediately after a workout. No. So if you're a morning workout person, you wouldn't be applying any type of contrast or cold water, shower following your training session, unless you could separate that time following training to let's say 2 or 3 hours. And if you're in that time period that far away, again, it's probably not something that's commonly done because you're probably working out, showering, and then getting out to work. I don't know if you're in a scenario where you could shower a few hours later. That being said, again, why would we do this? If there's nothing good from this, this is, I think, the most important part. There were some studies done that showed that the application of either a contrast where you're stepping in warm water or in and out of warm and cold water, or just simply stepping away from the cold water in a shower, and again, different protocols, a minute under there, 5 minutes straight like Jesse was talking about, it has the ability to lower cortisol levels. Now, here's the most important thing. If you're chronically having high levels of cortisol, a couple things are going to happen. Number one, you're not going to see much muscle growth, because cortisol is going to blunt your body's ability to recover. And as a natural trainer, the number one thing you can do is figure out all of the things that can benefit your recovery.
Which would be?
Sleep.
Okay.
Better nutrition.
Okay.
No gummy bears.
No.
Oh, it's done now? How you space out your training split, right? You're not banging away at the same stuff every single time. Your intensity level in your training split.
Is there anything you can take?
So you can supplements. You can take. We have RX3, which is our #1 recovery supplement. You could take a bunch of different things, which is highly leucine and glutamine driven. You can take different supplements to try to aid that, but the number one thing you have to do is make sure that all of these things are in place, because just picking and choosing a couple of them are not going to give you the bang for the buck that all of them will. Okay. Now, that being said, this is one of the ones that people never do, but again, it has a pretty dramatic ability to blunt cortisol, particularly for those people that are running around at high static cortisol levels now. Okay. So if your cortisol levels run fairly high right now, you probably wouldn't know it unless you have blood work done. And until you try something like this, you might be amazed at what it does and how much it allows you to start seeing some growth. So what I'm suggesting is this a tool? Is not taking cold showers killing your gains? I believe it could be, especially if you're doing all the other things right now in your recovery and you're just not seeing the gains from your workouts. If everything is good, nutrition is good, and sleep is good, and everything else is good, your training split smart, but you're not seeing gains, I would absolutely try cold water application, but I wouldn't do it in a submersive way. I wouldn't do it following your training session. I would do it in the morning, particularly if you're not working out prior to that, obviously, and you just do it on a regular basis and commit to it for about at least 3 or 4 weeks and see if it does something for you to start sparking some gains. You might be, again, like I said, surprised. So that being said, guys, I hope Leroy, right?
Leroy Sancino.
I should never forget my dog Leroy. I hope I've answered your question. If you want your question answered here in a future Ask Jeff, make sure you leave it below, and we'll do our best to make sure that Jesse goes through and combs through and finds the ones that you might be most interested in. In the meantime, I hope you found the video helpful. If you haven't done so, guys, make sure you head over to ATHLEAN-X.com. We actually have our RX3 Reconstruction Recovery over there, as well as all of our programs step-by-step to help you to build muscle and get stronger each and every workout. You can find those over at ATHLEAN-X.com. If you haven't done so, make sure you click subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video when we put one out. All right, guys. See you soon.